What would you sacrifice to uphold your principles when survival hangs in the balance? Ancient sage Saadi tells a story about this. In the city of Alexandria, a relentless famine had taken hold. The skies withheld their rain, the earth cracked under the sun's unyielding glare, and the once fertile fields lay barren. People wandered the streets with hollow eyes and gaunt faces, each day a struggle against hunger. Amidst this desolation lived a grocer known throughout the city, not for kindness, but for cunning. He had a reputation for mixing stones with lentils, tampering with his scales to cheat customers, and seizing every opportunity to inflate prices. While others suffered, his coffers grew heavy with coins stained by deceit. A group of dervishes, humble in spirit, yet rich in dignity, found themselves teetering on the brink of starvation. Their cloaks were worn, their sandals thin, but their principles remained unscathed. They had heard whispers that the grocer was offering free meals from his open kitchen, a gesture that seemed out of character. Desperate yet cautious, they pondered whether to accept his food. Seeking wisdom, they turned to sage Saadi. They explained their plight and expressed concern about accepting sustenance from a man whose hands were unclean with dishonesty. They wondered if taking his food would taint their integrity, or if necessity justified such an action. Saadi listened intently, his eyes reflecting the weight of their dilemma. He considered the grocer's motives and the broader impact of his actions on the community. The grocer's charity seemed less a gift and more a facade to mask ongoing exploitation. Saadi gently reminded the dervishes that accepting the grocer's food might bind them, even subtly, to his misdeeds. By partaking in his offerings, they could inadvertently endorse his corruption. He suggested that true nourishment came not only from filling the stomach, but also from maintaining one's honor and self-respect. The dervishes grappled with this counsel. Hunger gnawed at them, but so did the thought of compromising their values. They contemplated the grocer's role in the famine's severity, how his greed exacerbated the scarcity that plagued the city. Accepting his food felt like accepting his exploitation. In quiet resolve, they decided to seek sustenance elsewhere, even if it meant enduring greater hardship. Together, they pooled what little resources they had and found modest means to survive. Word of their choice spread through Alexandria. Others began to question the grocer's sudden generosity. Some refused his offerings, while others confronted him about his unfair practices. Faced with growing scrutiny, the grocer felt the walls of his deceit closing in. Confronted by the community, the grocer began to see the harm he had caused. In a moment of reckoning, he reconsidered his ways. He started to conduct his business fairly, removed the weights from his scales, and offered genuine help to those in need. The famine eventually lifted as rains returned and crops began to sprout anew. The city breathed a collective sigh of relief. The dervishes, though still modest in their means, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had endured not just a physical trial, but a moral one, emerging with their principles intact. Reflecting on their journey, they understood that true wealth was measured not in coins, comfort, or color of skin, but in the strength of one's character. Their choice had not only preserved their own integrity, but had also sparked a change within their community. In the end, the question remained, what would you sacrifice to uphold your principles when survival hangs in the balance? For the dervishes, the answer was clear. They had sacrificed comfort for conscience, and, in doing so, found a sustenance that fed more than just the body. The story of the dervishes and the grocer serves as a timeless reminder that integrity is a beacon in the darkest of times. It teaches that upholding one's principles can inspire change beyond oneself, reaching into the hearts of others and sowing seeds of transformation. And so, in the heart of Alexandria, where once famine had sown despair, a new crop of righteousness began to grow, nourished by the very principles that the dervishes refused to forsake.